am I outside? Okay. Hey, what's up guys? It's Millie's Millie Books here with another video. I had an idea to do this unpopular bookish opinions list, but it so happened that a tag came out and started going around, and because of the tag this video kind of ended up being made. However, I don't really want to follow the questions of the tag because I don't want to. It's a good tag, but I kind of just wanted to do a list so I could do a mix of positive and negative opinions that I don't typically see people have. So yes, these are just my opinions. I'm not trying to bash anybody's opinions, and I'm not saying that these opinions are completely unheard of. I'm just saying things that I think that I don't really hear other people say that they think a lot. Yeah. The first one is that my favorite Harry Potter book is not Deathly Hallows or Philosopher's Stone, but Goblet of Fire. I didn't think that Percy Jackson was that great. Granted, I've only read the first book, but I found Percy kind of annoying. I will probably finish the series eventually because I have all the books, but I don't understand the hype about the series or Percy as a character. I did not hate Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. It was definitely different from the rest of the series, and it was a lot more raw, but the more times I reread it, the more that I appreciated this book for what it did. And I also really enjoy how there's two parts to the movie, because I feel like the things that were wrong in the book could be fixed in the movie, and overall this is a good ending to this amazing series. Not my favorite book in the series, but it is still a very solid book. This one is one that I rarely see, and that is, I actually prefer Jem Carstairs to Will Herondale. I know, and I think the ending of Clockwork Princess is absolutely perfect, and I love both of them, but just my type is more of a Jem Carstairs. I also prefer Simon Lewis to Jace, Wayland, Herondale, Lightwood, all of the other last names. I like Jace, but again, Simon is my type. I don't ship Clary and Simon at all. I just love Simon as a character, and he's my favorite character from the Mortal Instruments series. While we are talking about the Cassandra Clare world, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I didn't hate the Mortal Instruments movie. Was it good? No. What, did I enjoy it? Yes. The ending was terrible, but overall, as a thing, as something that for me to watch and enjoy, I had a good time watching it. Plus Robert Sheehan as Bay, my favorite character was done right. I was happy. However, I am excited for the TV show to see what they're gonna do with the story in that format. I think it looks promising. It has a chance. We might get something better, guys. This one might not be as unpopular as you would think, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people say this. It is The Fault in Our Stars is my favorite John Green book. That, I feel like, is either a really popular opinion or a really unpopular opinion. I feel like a lot of people actually prefer Looking to Alaska by John Green, and although I did enjoy both of these books, this one wasn't my favorite. It just didn't do it for me. I thought it kind of, how should I say it? I didn't connect to the main character the same way. It wasn't even the ending of this book that a lot of people complained about. It's just that it didn't click with me the same way The Fault in Our Stars did. They are both great books, but I think that it's kind of like this hipster thing to be like, oh, you like Fault in Our Stars? Well, I like Looking for Alaska. And I don't see nearly as much, like, love for this actual book anymore. Like, there's obviously the fangirls who haven't read, like, any other YA books in their life who have read this, but I don't know, this is my favorite John Green book. None of them I've loved like this one. Paper Towns is definitely second for me. This is another one that's kind of a spin-off of a popular opinion, but a lot of people were disappointed in Allegiant, and I was a little bit too. It wasn't even the end, it was just the whole book as a whole. I thought that there was a lot of information dumps, and some of the plot twists were just not how I really hoped the story would go. But I also thought Insurgent was kind of disappointing. I thought that the characters were really immature in this book, and it was hard for me to root for them. So I love Divergent, don't get me wrong, but I think that this wasn't the only letdown in the trilogy. I think this, as a sequel, did not live up to the first book. I did not ship Cale and Selena. I like Cale as a character, and I love Selena, but just them together doesn't do it for me. Dorian is my favorite male in the Throne of Glass series, especially in the first two books, and I love him in Air of Fire, of course, too. But I also don't necessarily ship Dorian and Selena. I don't know. I just love him as a character, but together they just don't click. So I don't know what to do with this series. I think Selena is just a bamf and she doesn't need any man. And she just is an awesome motherfucker who gets shit done. So yes, that is my unpopular Throne of Glass opinion. Is that Kale just doesn't do it for me. Sorry. I did not hate the Retribution of Mara Dyer. Was it the weakest book in the trilogy? Yes. Was I annoyed that there could have been a little bit more of a conclusion instead of steamy sexy times? Yes. However, I loved how the end did come full circle, and I flew through this book in 2 days. Like, I was hooked. So it wasn't my favorite in the trilogy, but I think it's worth a read. Some people were just giving up on the series because I heard that a lot of people hated this, but it really wasn't that bad. Same goes for The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. A lot of people didn't like this book, and I loved it, honestly. I liked The Fifth Wave a lot more because I just thought there was more to it, but I thought these characters were still really funny and relatable, and I connected with them still. My biggest complaint is that it was a little bit too short. I just wish more would have happened. Like, exactly the same stuff would have happened, but then just like add 100 to 200 more pages just so there was more of a plot. But I am excited for the conclusion to this series because I can't wait to see what happens to my babies, even though I'm terrified. I did not like Warner until Ignite Me. Yep, some people were new through like, oh yes, he really isn't that bad. And granted, I didn't read the novellas until after I finished Ignite Me, so that could have had something to do with it. But a lot of people were like, I didn't like Adam from the beginning. Warner was the best from the beginning. Warner was an asshole in this book. I didn't like him. Even through Unravel Me, I was still throwing shade at that man. I mean, I don't know. But I ended up really liking Ignite Me, so I'm still on the right team, guys. It took me a while to get there. I wasn't as trusting as y'all. I think Rose Hathaway is kind of a pain in the ass. I just finished Blood Promise kind of recently, and I think she's kind of getting better, and I can't wait for her to fully develop. But as of now, she just isn't my favorite, and a lot of people say, oh, she gets better after the second book, but I'm still not seeing enough of an improvement in character for me to start liking her yet. But I am interested in finishing this series, which is something that I could not say 6 months ago. I did not like These Broken Stars at all. I picked this up probably 6 months before it was a book explosion book, and I saw that people were starting to read it. I'm like, huh, they're all gonna hate it. Everybody started liking it, and it wasn't even the sci-fi aspect. I think it was just boring because it was only 2 characters trapped in space, and I didn't like either of the 2 characters, so sometimes when you don't like main characters you can just be distracted by the other ones. But there was no way to be distracted by it. I just had to deal with these 2 dumbasses for this entire book. Plus, the plot twist thing going on in the middle just didn't make sense to me. So, overall, I wasn't a fan of this, and I have no interest in reading the sequel, even though it has different characters. This one is kind of hit or miss, but I really loved Red Queen. I have a book talk on this, and I raved about it, and I've heard a lot of mixed reviews. Some people either really like it or just really dislike it, and I agree at some point that it is a little bit cliche, but it kind of takes all of the cliches that I like in other books, so it doesn't really bother me. My books are right there under a pile, so I'm not gonna grab them. Another one of my unpopular opinions is I loved Anna and the French Kiss, but Lola and the Boy Next Door, as well as Isla and the Happily Ever After, weren't nearly as good. A lot of people's favorites are either Lola or Isla, and they think that the series gets better, but I think Anna is really the only character of the 3 that I really liked. And overall, I thought both of the second 2 books were really cute, but I just didn't have the same connection with the characters, and I thought at points both of them were kind of brats. They're not terrible books, but I definitely prefer Anna to Isla and Lola. This one I'm starting to see a little bit more and more, but I thought Ruby Red as an entire trilogy was really mediocre. A lot of people liked Ruby Red and thought the series got worse as it went on. However, I really wasn't hooked from the first book. So I probably gave this one 3.5 or 4 stars. I thought it was okay, and then it just kind of went downhill from there. And then my final one is I love the book Love Letters to the Dead. A lot of people really don't like this because they thought it was too close to Perks of Being a Wallflower, and although I do completely agree that it is quite close, Stephen Chbosky was Ava DeLara's mentor, so I don't think he would have let her rip off his book if he believed that it was a ripoff, and I think that although they are similar, they have aspects of both that I really like. And I just think the writing is really beautiful in this, and I like how it connects to Perks in the sense that there's a lot of just really good quotes in the book. So I really like this, and I'm sorry to all of you guys who can't like both Perks and this, because this really was a wonderful novel. Alright, that is it for some of my unpopular opinions. Share your most unpopular opinion in there. Do you agree with any of mine? Do you disagree with any of mine? I don't know. I wasn't tagged in the tag, but I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. So thank you so much for watching. This is Millions Millibooks. Bye! Oh, paper cut. Nope. I regret my decision already to hold up the books. It was just the whole book as a whole. I regret everything.